Welcome class, this is my backyard. My daughter is filming me on my iPhone, and this is my dog Shady. She's eating rocks right now. Not the smartest of dogs. Today I wanted to talk to you about confirmation bias. So, do you remember our little game? I put it up as an example. I asked you to do two things. I gave you a pattern of numbers, and I wanted you to create an example of the pattern that follows the rule, and then describe the rule. All of you happily came up with examples that did match the pattern and the rules, and all of your examples were correct, but none of you identified the rule. And that's the whole purpose of what we're going to talk about today. You stopped trying, and I'd like you to ask yourselves why. I'll tell you, once you find something that agrees with your perspective, generally people are pretty satisfied. In fact, you unconsciously start trying to discount anything that does not fit your perspective. And I realize that our example was a minor low-stakes one that took all of 5 seconds for you to take a look at. But I'd ask you to start noticing how many times a day you find yourself gleaning bits and pieces of information from little things that bombard you, whether it's an ad, a radio announcement, a random snippet of a conversation in a grocery line. You start to categorize everything you see and hear into something that agrees with what you already believe. And then you stop. So what I'm saying is that you think you are a rational human being who makes decisions based on sound logic. You take information objectively and you analyze it. But the reality is that you filter out the most objective information, and you only find ways to support what you think is right. You might be arguing with me right now. You might be thinking, "Ah, Lori, that's not me. I'm much smarter than this." Okay? You want to be right about how you see the world, so when you form an opinion, even as simple as our little numbers example, or which political party to support, you stop seeking information that could invalidate your perspective. Here's a really interesting 2008 study of the election. You can look this up online. The guy's name is Valdis Krebs, K-R-E-B-S. He's at Orgnet. And he analyzed the Amazon wish lists and the shopping carts of thousands and thousands of Americans during the last election. And he found that people who supported Obama were only requesting and reading books that painted Obama in a good light. And he found that people who supported McCain requested and read books that put McCain in a good light. So no one is buying books for information. No, you are only buying books for confirmation. No one dared to peek over the little wall of their own beliefs. They stopped. They stopped looking right away. People go where they feel reinforced. It's called confirmation bias, and it blinds us. Basically, it tells us that we would rather be deluded than informed. In fact, scientists who want to prove a hypothesis have to be careful to set up experiments that don't set up a predictable outcome. Reporters have to be careful to not gather all evidence on the one side of a story that they like. And without confirmation bias, conspiracy theories just fall apart. So let's come back to my little number pattern example. And by the way, I did not invent this. This has been around since the 1960s. I've done it a cajillion times in my classes. And your pattern proved to be exactly like what everybody else does. So a teacher gives a number pattern and asks students to duplicate this pattern, find the rule, and then state the rule. My pattern was simple, 2, 4, 6. And many of you chose 8, 10, 12, or 22, 24, 26. Some daring person went with odd numbers, like 3, 5, 9. I told you all it worked, and you all said, okay, great, we're done. Did anybody even try to get a no? I've tried this example so many times. No one gets a yes and then tries 8, 6, 10, or I'm sorry, 10, 8, 6 just to see if it fits the pattern. By the way, it doesn't. No one tried 2, 12 to 6 and 16 just to see if it fits. Nobody tried 1, 5 with 2 numbers. Nobody tried 1, 50, 100. By the way, those patterns work. Everyone is content to come up with a copycat pattern, but no one tests things that don't seem to work with what they think. And by the way, here's the rule. I need a drum roll. Can somebody give me a drum roll? Thank you, Maya. Okay. It's any set of numbers whose value increases by any amount. That's what the rule was. So you could have tried anything that, as long as it increased, it would have worked. You were willing to prove that you were right about something, but you are not as likely to want to work to prove that you could be wrong. So, you guys are working on papers. Ask yourselves what's at stake. You're not the only people to have been posed this question and to have offered this exact same response. And you, like everybody else, you go where you're comfortable. You want to be where people play nice with your ideas. So I want you to think about Rush Limbaugh, Michael Moore, Ann Coulter, and Ariana Huffington. These folks do all your dirty work for you. They filter your news to agree with a conservative or a liberal point of view. And if you agree with them, you're going to eat it up. If you don't agree with them, what do? You either turn them off, press a button and click out of it, or you start fighting back. You're not going to listen to them. Very few people listen. So when you think, well, it doesn't matter whether you think that they're telling the truth or spreading vile lies, you can be sure that you're going to get the warm fuzzies from people you agree with. You seek confirmation, not information. 99% of your readers are doing the same thing. So in science, you move closer to the truth by seeking evidence of the contrary. As you're working on your papers this semester, I want you to play with the idea of trying to prove yourselves wrong as you do your research. This will become important as we work on further papers. It doesn't mean that your original opinion is less valid at all. It just means that you're going to get smarter in how you defend your opinions. And it's going to make you a better writer and a more critical reader. Certainly more discerning. So with that, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the discussion blogs. Take care. Bye-bye.